thinking of new dreams.
ジョージ・ルーカス
I dream of visions which have
彼は
yet to be seen,
いつも新しい夢を考えてきた
which have not yet been
見たこ
heard.
とのないものを
From dreams,
聞いたことのない
I
音を
create a new reality.
現実の形にしてきた
In this universe, new dreams and new friends.
この宇宙は新しい夢と仲間でいっぱいだ
Panasonic, always new dreams, wonderful friends.
パナソニックいつも新しい夢素晴らしい仲間
Panasonic, Itsumo, something.
Hello there.
Hello there. Kyle Katarn here.
On the Bendu, wishing the great creator, George Lucas, a happy 80th birthday.
80 years young,
The
man.
creator turned 80 today, which I had to look it up while I was at work, is literally only 4 years away from Ian McKellen. Like, they're so close in age that, like,
Puts it in perspective.
Gandalf and the creator of Star Wars, of whom, if it wasn't for George Lucas, neither of us would really be here. Well, I don't know. We share a lot of
It's true. If
families.
it wasn't for George Lucas, we would have never been born.
Yeah.
Really makes you think. No, but it's true. Like, the Star Wars is really foundational to our friendship. And if it wasn't for George Lucas and the things he made, like, we probably would not have connected on the level that we did. Like, I think that's fair to say, honestly. Like,
I mean, thankfully, well, I was gonna say I share a slight different opinion, at least on our friendship, because parkour and cinematography were the initial get-getters there, and then I think Lord of the Rings was like maybe the first initial thing, and then Star Wars was obviously really where it kicked off. But we think we had other fandoms in common.
oh, absolutely. Don't get me
But,
wrong.
Star Wars
Like,
was
if it wasn't for Star Wars,
definitely-
we wouldn't be friends or anything crazy like that. I'm just saying, like, Star Wars was always there. It was kind of a constant. And, like, every time we would hang out, Star Wars would come up in the conversation. At least.
Absolutely.
You know, like, it's always been there. That's
Absolutely.
more what I'm trying to say. But either way, I feel like my life would be very different if it wasn't for Star Wars. I would not be doing what I do for a living. That's for damn sure. I wonder what I'd be obsessed with if it wasn't for Star
Well,
Wars.
again, so like with Lucasfilm, so there's still Industrial Light and Magic. There's still Jim Henson. What's his nuts? Who made Jaws and Indiana Jones and E.T.
Spielberg?
Fucking Steven Spielberg. Jesus
Spielberg,
Christ. Yeah. So like I feel like there are other projects that have collectively been done that second-handedly, I think you would still be exposed to those groups. But like,
I think you're right.
yeah, but
totally
like
right.
for real though, between Spielberg and Lucas, they definitely, their friendship throughout going to film school at USC, they definitely like heavily influenced each other.
Oh
And,
yeah,
like,
I think that we have all benefited from their friendship.
Yeah.
The ways that they've kind of like they had like such a friendly one-upmanship with their blockbuster movies. Like, everybody wins, especially the audience, you know.
It's true. But yeah, no,
Exactly, Vilder. That's a case in point. The whole community. We got over, which, by the way, there's over 1,200 people on the Discord server now. Congratulations to us. That's a big chunk of people, and Star Wars is the glue that brought all of them together.
Well,
but yeah, it's George Lucas's birthday, and a very happy birthday to him. 80 years old. What is your favorite George Lucas movie? And it doesn't have to be a Star Wars movie.
I mean, truth be told, I haven't finished THC, or no, what was it? Not THC. Ha ha ha. The
THX 1138. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I haven't fully like watched that one through, so I can't really like judge too much on that one. But a George Lucas film itself, or like something that he helped with. I mean, the first one that immediately comes to mind, aside from Star Wars, actually is Hook, which I think is still Spielberg. I don't think that's
Hook was Spielberg.
Yeah,
and George Lucas, if I recall.
But him and Carrie Fisher, like I just find it so funny learning that like the couple that's hanging out on the London Bridge at the very end of the movie is like Lucas and Carrie Fisher just like doing a cameo because they were in the neighborhood like at the time that they were filming Hook, and I was like, that's fucking hilarious. Again, just the idea of like, hey, I'm making a movie. Can you just like pop in real quick because I need some extras?
I love it when we get like walk-in extra cameos like that. There's always like, famous people happen to be in the studio that day and just waltz onto the set. Must be fun. So Hook for you.
I think just because that's the immediate first thing that really comes to mind. Like I didn't, because I put that together with him more specifically than like little kid me, like watching Star Wars. Like I feel that Star Wars was always its own separate entity. But then when I started like thinking about directors as their own like individual self,
as genres,
yeah, the different Indiana Jones or like I said, Hook really came in. Willow. I saw someone in the comments say Willow. I mean,
that was going to be my answer. Actually, it was going to be
Lucas.
Willow. Willow's my favorite George Lucas film.
Did he write it then? Because he
story by George Lucas. Yeah,
because he didn't direct it. It was
Ron Howard directed it.
Yeah, but okay, so he wrote it though.
Okay, he wrote Willow though. Yes, I consider it a George Lucas film, even though it was filmed by Ron Howard.
Mm-hmm.
Land Before Time. Get out of here. That's not George Lucas, is it?
Like the original one, like the first one in like 1991.
The Tales of Flathead. Because I grew up with that stuff. I never knew. Maybe this guy's having a laugh. Maybe Woodsy's just having us on right now, and he's not actually. But if that's kind of a mind blow for me if that turns out to be true.
Yeah, we'll have to Google that one later because that's
dude. Willow, Indiana Jones, Hook, like Land Before Time. All of George Lucas's hits like have been like formative to me at different times in my life. Like I really think I'm the right age to have grown up with his like repertoire hitting me at all the right ages that I was supposed to be when I watched them for the first time. That's why I'm so on board with this stuff. But I think my favorite thing that George Lucas does, like even more masterful than his filming and his writing, I think, is his command of sound effects.
Cut it right at the loudest sound.
You're like, your finger.
Pow, pow, pow.
Boom, 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 boom.
Borrow that microphone for a second.
It's the him on the keyboard that always.
Yes. And while he's doing it, he's just staring Ben Burt in the eyes. He's just like
he's either inherently a child or B, he's just ultimately a sound designer at heart. And one of his side passions that he never actually got into was whatever the name of those people are that make different sound effects in a
Foley
room.
artists.
Yeah. Like, I feel like that's secretly what he would want to
do. I would love to be a Foley artist, man. That would be so much fun.
Yeah.
That would be great. But
no, I appreciated that he would take sounds also from just like the weirdest fucking things. Like the, the TIE Fighter engine or like the TIE Fighter blaster sound was like hitting a wrench on like a steel cable.
On like a taut piece of metal. Yeah.
Yeah. Like fucking hilarious and so random and brilliant.
Yeah, he had like a little transistor that he would like change the voltage of it to create the land speeder engine sounds. Like it's all really ingenious. Let's see what other people said for their answers here. Ronan coming in with the classy answer, American Graffiti. That's true. Also a big one. Very formative.
I don't remember that one enough.
Came out right before Star Wars.
Rewatch it now that I'm an adult. I need to rewatch.
You watched it as a kid?
Ish, I guess. Yeah.
Indiana Jones or American Graffiti?
My fucking weed smoking ass saying THC.
Everyone loves Indiana Jones. Devil Dog.
But again, see, like with Indy, I almost immediately think Spielberg also because like he directed a majority of them.
I think it goes both ways. You can consider it either. You can consider it either. Directed by Spielberg, story by Lucas. Because that's kind of their dynamic duo when they would work together. That's always the roles that they would fall into.
But I think Jaws was like purely Spielberg.
Jaws?
I think so. Yeah.
I think so. I think you're right. I think it just kind of has that George Lucas energy to it, and that's because of John Williams.
Mm-mm.
That's totally why. You call him Dr. Jones. Hey, we named the dog Indiana. Okay. So yeah, did we get an updated context on Land Before Time here? Land Before Time is executive produced by Steven Spielberg, George Lucas, Kathleen Kennedy, and Frank Marshall. I never knew. That's badass. Man, I should rewatch Land Before Time.
Why? It's so fucking sad.
I stopped before it got to the one where the asteroid kills them all. So like I kind of feel like I should build
even
up
the
to
first
it
one is depressing.
and then react to it.
Even the first one is depressing. It has dead mom. It has Disney dead mom energy. That's its
okay. I'm about to say something really weird. That's my favorite mother death scene in animation.
What?
And it's a very weird thing to have a favorite of, but The Land Before Time has my favorite scene of a mother dying in the start of a story.
Oh, why?
Because all the animated films.
Because it's true to nature, and because she like goes out. Doesn't she get eaten by a?
It's just an extremely well constructed scene. Like the music is perfect, the emotional beats are played out perfectly well. Sharptooth is fucking terrifying. This is also 7-year-old me giving this review because I haven't seen it in a while. But like, yeah, perfect death scene. Love it.
True, though.
It beats the shit out of Bambi's mom every time. It clears that dead deer like nobody's business.
It does, yeah. Tis true.
Yeah, dude, Sharptooth, like
the original one, yeah, terrifying.
I was stressing. As a little child, I was stressing when
but
he
it was like
on
the worst, most depressing scene, second-handedly, when they're like walking through the fucking canyon and he sees the shadow of like the fucking rocks or whatever, and like thinks it's his mom, and then he like curls up next to the rocks and starts crying. Like fucking Simba ain't got shit on that.
No. It's like, it's super sad. It's not quite like insanely sad, like Watership Down level sad. Like, why would you do that to children level sad? But like, it's up there. It's up there for sure. Poor Littlefoot. I'm all sad now thinking about it again. But you know what? It'd be worth it to revisit those movies because that's a huge part of my childhood that I don't ever think about. Land Before Time was my jam as a little kid. Like, everyone went through a dinosaur phase, right? Like,
absolutely.
Just like
at that same period of time, as we're slightly going off kilter, who did Fievel Goes West and like the American Tail cartoon? Is that also Spielberg?
No.
I feel like those were done by like similar people as well.
My reflex is to say Ralph Bakshi, but I know that's wrong.
Yeah, right.
Fievel Goes West, An American Tail. I'm just looking it up.
Genghis Connie, hello.
It's directed by Phil Nebelink and Simon Wells. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Must just be the 90s. It might just be the 90s time period animation. Because then
it looks like of course it's Don Bluth. Of course it's Don Bluth. Should have known. Yeah, Don Bluth, famous Disney animator, like Sword in the Stone. He also did The Dragon's Lair.
That's true.
Arcade game.
Are you saying,
totally Don Bluth.
Spielberg was a producer for those ones, or for one of them?
Okay, yes, Spielberg produced Fievel Goes, like the American Tales. Yeah, Don Bluth was the animator behind that. And as soon as you see it, it's like as soon as it's pointed out to you, it's so iconically like obviously Don Bluth too.
Yeah.
Yes, we're back. I love that movie. Another really
that one also
villain death. Professor Screw Eyes getting eaten by crows, man. Whoo!
That was dope. But also like the weird.
Yep,
I forget what turned them savage. Was it purely just the camera flashes, and then
no? It was because they had been feeding on his like negative emotions,
and that's what turned them into beastly dinosaurs. Because they were able to change back.
I thought you were talking about the crows. What did he do to them? Just some weird like science. I don't think it was fully explained, but he like injected them with weird science that like.
Because I felt like the little kid was able to like change them back to like their friendly. See, that's a fucking cartoon that we'd have to go back and.
Yeah, he used like the power of friendship to like break through, and get John Goodman to calm the fuck down and turn back into like a T-Rex with manners, as you do.
Fucking Loath Wolf, Sith anger fed the crows. I mean, there's a lot.
Legit.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even anger. It was like bitterness and loneliness. Like the Professor Screw Eyes wasn't just like some mustache twirler. He was like a really wounded, emotionally like hurt person just lashing out at the world. It
Sounds
was
like Rasputin.
it was pretty complex for a kid's animation. But yeah, I love We're Back. That was one of my favorites too, for sure. We got a bunch of trailers today, in fact, that dropped.
The last couple days. So where would you like to start off with?
Well, let's see. We've got 3 here. We've got the Acolyte trailer, which came out last week, just after the podcast, actually. It's too bad we couldn't have talked about it then. And then we have a new season 2 trailer for the Rings of Power, and a season 2 trailer for the House of the Dragon. Where do you want to start? What do you say, chat? Where do you guys want to start?
Yeah, we could take it to the chat here.
Everyone gets a trailer.
I will say, as we get into Rings of Power, I know we will probably get hit with a bunch of hater hype, as we did with season 1.
You know, I don't know that, and I don't want to invite it by manifesting it.
That's fair. But Rings of Power was such a beautiful portrait of events. Like,
stunning.
Yeah, there were some like really slow parts, but like from everything that the story really built up to, and everything that's going to come or potentially come from this season 2, like
that is exactly it. It's all about the build.
So yeah, it's going to be so palpable, and
We've had nothing but build this whole time. You know?
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to put my Netflix membership on pause and do a trial, do a weekly trial for the Amazon Prime for this season 2. But it comes out in the summer, so it'll
August 29th. I think the trailer said August 29th.
Yes. Oh, and yeah, Woodsy, as I see in the comments, our Lord Father Adar, dude. Like, I'm so pumped to see our Lord Father again.
And
like,
it's a new actor. It's a new actor. They recast Adar. He's not returning as the same actor, which was kind of, at first when I heard that news, I thought that meant the character wasn't returning, and I was very confused and sad. But now that we know that we're still getting the character, like, just have faith in the new actor's portrayal. Hopefully he does a good job, because the character is like so compelling.
That's true.
Easily the most interesting thing that happened in season 1 is just the concept of this elf being one of the original orcs. And
shout out to Uncle Benjen for like really bringing that character home. And,
Joseph Mawley, I think his name is.
Yeah,
that actor. Yeah, killed it.
Yeah, and it wasn't. Yeah, I really appreciated how he was. I guess we'll get into Rings of Power now. Fuck it, do it live.
Yeah,
I really appreciated how that actor was able to bring really more of just like he was a union rep for orcs, man. Like, at no period of time was he trying to hold any sort of superiority or like, yo, I'm your boss, I'm your superior, fucking do what I say, because like
he wanted rights and he wanted agency for the orcs.
Yeah,
and he wanted a place for them to live.
Yeah,
what a dick, right? What an evil guy.
Yeah, like, also,
yeah, I remember he like laid it out for Galadriel, and I was over there like, this motherfucker's making a lot of sense right now. Like, damn, is he recruiting me and I just don't know it? But dude, like, honestly, yeah.
And in the back of my mind, also just waiting in like dark glee of just waiting for the Numenorians to have the audacity to try to like take their ships back to like Mother God land, and for them to just like spur on this whole Atlantis level not typhoon, but like, you know, flood. It's just it's going to be so worth it. It's so worth it.
It's going to be insane when it finally happens. They teased it in the vision. It's not even supposed to happen until the beginning of the Third Age, so we've got a long way to go story-wise. But like everyone was talking about how slow season 1 was and how boring it was. Well, the reason they had so much exposition is because they had no choice. They had to set up all of the events of season 2. Like that, the entire season was just build and build and build and pretense and setup. So the payoff kind of felt like it wasn't enough based on how much we had to sit through to get to the payoff. Well, what we were really sitting for was season 2. Like, it could just pop off right away now. Like, everything, like the board is set and the pieces are moving, as Gandalf would say.
Yeah.
Like, this is where the good stuff starts, honestly. And so I was excited. I'm totally bought into the hype for season 1, and I was really on board. But I am more hyped for season 2 now that I've seen what they have to offer. And when a huge budget, like ambitious production like this, it usually takes like around about a season to really find their footing. And so like I'm excited to see what they're going to do now that they can hit the ground running. The actors and the characters are all established. The relationships have been established for the audience. They don't need to hold our hand through any of that anymore. They can just get straight to the conflict, straight to the resolutions.
Yeah.
And it's going to be great.
Sydney 81. I want to see the rulers of men, or the kings of men who make up the ring wraiths. The
9 kings.
Would that be second age? I mean,
that would be the tail end of the second age. Yep.
Yes, because like, if anything, season 2, if anyone's gonna get rings from Sauron, it would be like maybe the dwarves, because like the elves made. Did they make all 3 rings at the end of season 1? Now I have to rewatch season 1.
Yes, at the end of season 1, we've got 3 rings for the elves.
Cool shit. Okay. So
very shortly, like it was very shortly thereafter teased that they were immediately going to get to work on the 7 rings for the dwarves. But after that would be 9 rings for men.
Yeah, but it's Sauron who makes those ones, though. So he has to first go back and like see that the elves are actually successful and how they made their rings.
He's gonna show up. He's gonna show up as Anatar, Lord of Gifts, this season, and that's when he presents the dwarves and the men with their rings. So it's gonna happen pretty soon. But the 9 men turning into wraiths, that's not gonna happen until like the end of the second age, because it happens before the last alliance of elves and men, which is also in the second age. So it's still far off, but it's not that far off. You know, it's in the age that we're currently in. More Balrog, absolutely for sure. I want to see the entire scourging of Khazad-dûm.
Bro,
so cool, dude.
Yeah, we're gonna actually see Durin's Bane for because I forget, the one in Moria had its own separate name, but this one's like, yeah, it's its own legendary Balrog.
This is that same area.
Okay, cool shit. Cal H, I hope the Blue Wizards are in season 2. Bro, the Blue Wizards are...
Blue Wizards.
I'll tell you what. One of them's on Muscle Beach, like just boosting up his strength stats. And then the other Blue Wizard is like madly studying weather magic. And like the only reason why there's weather anywhere in the world is because the 2 Blue Wizards, like that's why in the Hobbit movie Gandalf makes that joke of, if you want the rain to stop, find another wizard.
Right, find yourself a different wizard.
Yeah, it's the 2 blues who have weather magic for sure.
I would absolutely love to get some like expansion on the Blue Wizards, but like they don't, like Woodsy brings up a good, they don't have the rights to everything. I don't even know if they have the rights to Baron and Luthen. I think they do, though, because they've mentioned the statues a couple of times. We've got some exposition about them. I hope we get more wizards. I am not expecting to get much more than like some more Gandalf stuff, quite honestly. But I think I have an image here of what the Blue Wizards look like in this time period, or at least what one of them looks like. Take a look at this.
Speaking of Gandalf, of which also it was announced, we didn't get a teaser, we didn't get a poster or nothing. But we did get the announcement of the actual happenings of the Gollum movie. And
yes,
Andy Serkis is going to be writing and directing it. And then Peter Jackson is just going to be a major producer and executive producer.
Much more exciting than just Peter Jackson. It's Peter Jackson, Fran Walsh, and Philippa Boyens, the trio that made the original trilogy. Peter Jackson gets so much of the credit for those films. But really, Fran Walsh and Philippa Boyens were equal partners in that endeavor. Like the 3 of them wrote it together. Like honestly, they're very involved in that adaptation. My aunt Zoe is actually in town right now. She worked on the original Lord of the Rings trilogy, and so she was in the room with me when I read that article out, and I told her that news, and she was very, very excited. She went and she called Andy Serkis on the phone to talk to him about it. She had to leave the room, so I didn't get to hear what they said.
Fuck yeah, I forget she was in the Shire. Yeah.
She was. Well, so she was the 3rd assistant on the film set, but she was a stand-in in the background in a bunch of scenes, and then in the Fellowship of the Ring, the extended version, she's the Hobbit who's handed the bouquet of flowers, and then she like closes her eyes so she can kiss the dude. But then like a tray of sweet rolls goes past him, and he like starts eating one instead, and she's just like totally left hanging. Yeah, that's my end.
Devil Dog plus can't wait to see young Elrond in a fight. I know, dude. Okay, so like Elrond again, right? So season 1, so before that, backtracking, right? We get the only time we get to see Elrond is his super depressed, angry dad, fucking Hugo Weaving version, right? And then
well, I mean, in the prologue, we get to see it for like 2 seconds.
And then now in like juxtaposition, we get to see like straight out of college Elrond, happy as can be, like, full optimism. Like, bro, we've talked about this before when season 1 came out in our reactions. Like, the downgrade and the downfall of Elrond's happiness is going to be so depressing, but like so fucking funny to watch, because he's going to get married, he's going to meet the love of his life at some point, right? He's going to have a daughter, but at the same time, like, he's going to see all of his friends get betrayed by humans. He's going to put all of his faith into humans.
He's got that smug little grin, and it's going to be
He's like, we're going to be fine, guys. Everything's going to be
by
cool.
the end of the series.
Our friendship, we're going to like, defeat Sauron and Morgoth, and everything's going to be cool. And then, in the middle of 2 towers, he's just sitting there telling Arwen, everything you love is going to die. If you stay here, you're just going to be a shadow of your former self.
You live long enough, man, you become a nihilist. It just happens.
Just like, bro.
He does. He fights very well in The Hobbit. But at that point, we're talking Third Age Elrond. He's seen some shit.
Right, because that scene doesn't even actually happen.
Second Age Elrond, it's a different story. I'm not saying he's not going to be a good fighter, but like, he doesn't have the life experience that he has by the time of The Hobbit. And the Lord
that
of the
whole
Rings.
scene also was like taken from the Silmarillion. Also, all the people who are hating of like, oh, Rings of Power isn't canon. Fucking Peter Jackson's shit isn't canon, but we still love every
it's
single
an adaptation. Yeah, this movie was not directed by J.R.R. Tolkien, therefore it is not like liberties will be taken. That's just a guarantee.
The only gatekeeper.
I don't know, man. A lot of the people that have to weigh in and like talk about why the Rings of Power is so terrible, it's very clear that they're not doing it because they're very passionate about Tolkien's work. They're doing it because they really want you to know how much they know about Tolkien's work. Like, it's a weird, socially awkward flex every time. They're like, oh, well, actually, in the Silmarillion, blah, 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 blah. It's like, yeah, but do you know how to have fun?
Yeah, exactly, right?
Do you know how to watch TV? Like, it's all fake. It's all made up.
2, are you friends with Christopher Tolkien? Like, are you
right? Yeah, it's like, unless you're involved in the production of a show, like, don't try to frame your opinion like it's a statement of fact.
Yeah.
Don't dress it up like anything other than what it is. Your opinion. You can't be like, this is terrible. I mean, you can, but like, it's going to hold a lot more water if you can be like, this is terrible because blank, in my opinion. Like, this is what I think.
Yeah.
That's something worth listening to. But like, I don't know. A lot of valid criticism gets lost in the weeds, like in favor of like ad hominem, just like these weird superlative statements about the show that really don't contribute anything to the conversation. It's just an opportunity to be like, I know a lot about Tolkien and I don't have any friends. And then you like wander off to the next group of people and do the exact same thing. Yeah. Meanwhile, we're over here just trying to enjoy the show, man.
For example, here's like a beautiful criticism. Like,
totally
again,
valid. Totally
something
valid.
We were talking about Adar, the amount of costume detail, the fact that they gave him chainmail, the fact that his gauntlet, like, I don't think What a Workshop worked on Rings of Power, but him and Galadriel looked straight up out of a Peter Jackson production.
I think What a Workshop did work on Rings of Power. Cool. I know that John Howe works on Rings of Power.
Yeah, which
is a huge step of confidence.
But then some of the Númenórean army, they kind of dropped the ball on a little bit. So it's like, I guess again,
Númenórean army. You don't like the Númenórean designs?
Well, their chainmail looked like fabric. It looked like painted fabric. It didn't look like actual chainmail.
They had that weird blue.
Yeah, like it definitely was obvious. It was definitely obvious that they had more of like, this is an important character. They have a higher budget. We need to focus on them. Versus like, these guys are just foot soldiers. We just need something.
You can kind of tell like, oh, these are clearly meant to be in the foreground, and that armor is clearly meant to be way back there. Instead of having a consistent level of quality.
But again, that's just money. That's just how much money they had. That was
exactly. It's a budget thing. Exactly. It's a budget thing. One thing that I thought was interesting is that like, so a criticism that I saw a lot was that the elven armor in the beginning of the show, when they're wearing the really wide plated like gold armor, was like, it's like spotless and flawless and clean, and like they're wearing armor that has never seen battle, you know? And yes, that's a visual departure from especially the elves, but like everyone in general in Middle Earth that we've seen in the Third Age. It's a deliberately established departure because we're going to slowly make the transition into that gritty world. And it's a lot harder to show that descent into grittiness unless we start in like a nice pristine, clean place. So that's the reason for that. It's not like these people have no idea how to visually represent Middle Earth. It's like, no, they're making a specific choice here so that eventually when we see it descend into madness and darkness because Sauron has returned.
Over 2,000 years. Wait, no, like what, 3,000 years?
A long fucking time.
A long time. That's like longer than Star Wars period of time. Like this is
twice
that.
Yeah, it might as well be that Sauron has been kicking it from the time of Revan to the time of Rey. Like that's about the same amount of time, honestly. About the same amount of time.
Wild in comparison. Like that's
in comparison.
Years. That's wild.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's jump into the season 2 trailer for sure.
Let's do it, man.
Oh, it's so
without further ado, Rings of Power season 2 trailer.
Oh, the fucking volcano.
Ancient and powerful has returned.
Halbrand is a fun character. I knew he was Sauron straight away. They didn't fool me for a second. Also, I love Galadriel's new look with the braid across the top.
We've got some new elves, some new characters. Oh, it looks like
dude, it's fucking Barrow Whites. It's got to be Barrow Whites. I didn't think about that before.
The rest of him let us in.
Anatar, the Lord of Gifts.
He has been here.
He came back with a shave and a haircut, dude, and they're all fooled.
Yeah, right.
To be fair, I was fooled. I thought it was a different actor at first.
Oh, what the fuck is that?
Is in peril.
Something stirred in the deep. God, the orcs look so fucking good in this show, dude. 3 for the Elf Kings, 7 for the Dwarf Lords.
Fuck yeah, that dude.
Arendir can get it.
Fuck you.
So can Farazan with his fucking crazy hair.
Oh, was that Adar? I think that was the new Adar.
That was the new Adar.
He looks pretty good.
He's Sauron.
Let's fucking go.
I'm so pumped.
Let's go. August 29th, man.
Yes. Fucking yes. The death of Celebrimbor will break your heart. I mean, yeah, bro. Maybe.
I mean, it's gonna be sad. It's gonna be sad.
But then you go back and you play what is it? Not War of the Ring. That was the
Shadow of Mordor
campaign. Shadow of
War and Shadow of Mordor, yeah.
And you get fused together with the spirit, the wraith spirit of.
It's a very different Celebrimbor portrayal that took it in a different direction. Yeah, no, that's Charlie Vickers, man. And in my reaction, I look like an idiot too, because I'm like, oh well, they cast it with a guy who looks a lot like him in the face. Like that's really smart casting.
It could be prosthetic.
Like, that's because it's the same goddamn dude, Kyle. You idiot. They might have given him a little prosthetic. Look, this is his face. This is just what Charlie Vickers actually looks like.
And then when they made him look like an elf, they slender. Oh, you know what they did?
It's a little longer, but the thing is, his forehead is so much higher. He's wearing a wig that sits all the way up here. You know what I mean?
And then they gave him the pointy ears for sure.
And to be perfectly fair,
the eyebrows.
If I shaved off my beard, none of y'all would recognize me. So, like, maybe Halbrand can fool some elves, you know?
That's fair. I mean, Clark Kent logic, right?
Legit, yeah. He puts the glasses on, whole different guy.
On, hair down, like that's it. Like, yeah. Fucking Gandalf bringing down the stick, bro. Yeah, look at him. Okay, so
that's our new Adar. He's totally similar, but
he looks good.
Man, it's giving Revenge of the Sith Tarkin a little bit.
I just think he looks scaly. I think
you know what I mean. When they had Wade and Pygram stand on like the building the Death Star shot, and like you're supposed to only see him from far away, and then there's that production still of Tarkin, and they like put like fucking I don't know like plaster of Paris on his face to give him crazy cheekbones. Like
that's fair.
It's kind of like they're making a caricature of that actor's face. That's kind of how it feels.
Cool. I just don't like that it's in this film quality. It is Bezos. In this breakdown, or like in this little snippet, I don't like that he just looks very like scaly. Like, I mean, it could be.
There was a shot earlier on of his side profile, and you could see they had like a little bit of burn here, but the face looked clean. Let's see if I can find that.
So, of which, if anything, what the fuck cracking is that thing?
I know. What the hell is that thing?
Why is it? Oh, it's so terrifying. Bro, Durin's wife is such a bad. She's so.
Lisa, yeah, she's a great character. I really wasn't sure what to expect from her in season 1, and she killed it.
This is way inside your mind.
I went back too far. Hold on. Yeah, Adar is absolutely the most fascinating character in the show.
What
like,
some of those spells are,
for sure.
What exactly going on?
Evil and earned.
I don't get it.
Yeah, like what in the swamp thing are you?
That's totally the nameless fear. The whispers of a nameless fear. And I think this is going to be the Barrow Whites.
Worms is way inside your mind.
Just the moths in a tomb. All this jewelry.
What are the Barrow Whites? Is that what the cultists were? The bald.
The Barrow Whites are like the creepy little ghosts. The ghosts that like live in the Barrow Hearts that are off just south of the Shire area. They tangle with them in the book.
August.
And Games Workshop came up with a line of minis for the Barrow Whites as well. God, I love the orcs in this. Not the Dead Marsh's ghosts. This is a fellowship encounter. So that's the first Adar shot. Where's our other Adar shot? Interesting. You know what? I bet I was thinking of the other featurette that they did. Oh yeah, this is the other thing I wanted to point out. Can you see what's happening here? With the right there.
I see a lot of ice.
That black tower right there. That's the fortress from the very first season, from the first episode in Forradwaith, in the snowy. Well, that's where they fight the ice troll. She climbs up hella far and finds it and stuff. This is that place being created, and this is that environment turning snowy for the first time, which tells us this is a flashback of young Sauron creating this. Because this is what the landscape used to look like, and then this is what it looked like at the start of season 1. So clearly, we're going to be doing some back and forth with time. And I saw a comment in there saying that that Adar was like young Adar fighting Sauron, and I think that's right on the money, honestly.
That could be cool, yeah. Because that's true. They have their own. They have their own different relationship that fucking we know nothing about. Because Adar is a completely Amazon created character. So yeah, their whole motivations and prior history is
fascinating, honestly.
Completely unknown to us.
I would read a whole novel with Adar as the main character.
Yes. But
I am just a a shameless orc enjoyer over here. Yeah, someone was out talking about the Blue Wizards. Where do you think the Blue Wizards are at these days? And I said we have a photo of at least what one of them looks like during this time period. I think they look something like this. I don't know if there's both together, but I guarantee you at least one of them is dressed like this right now, and he's like halfway to Bermuda while all this crazy stuff is going on. The Blue Wizards don't care, man. They're not even part of this. They're just like traveling the world, doing. I'm sure they're aware of the struggle with the ring.
They're studying weather. I'm telling you.
They know what Gandalf is up against. They're fully aware. They're just not going to do anything about it, And that's fine. That's fine. Why do they have to?
Master Roshi. No, it's Merlin. Blue Wizards got into the hot tub and never got out again. Yeah, kind of.
This season, Galadriel's being driven more by a bigger purpose, and I feel she's once again becoming connected with Middle Earth and with.
That's true, because season 1 it was all about revenge.
Making her quest more important.
It was all about my brother.
That's what I'm saying. They had to set it up. They had to get her to a place where she could be ready for this plot.
One of the exciting
Fucking-
things about this
I
series
like
is
how
we're
it
gonna get
doesn't
to
even
see
say Halbrand
Sauron
anymore.
out in the
It's straight
open,
up
making
Sauron.
everything happen.
No
We'll be able to
line.
watch
There
it
he
all
is. That's the
unfold.
shot I was talking about right there.
He's just walking up. Look at him. Yeah.
His face is a little cleaner here, and you just see that the burn damage on the sides.
Which I mean, that's fair because he wasn't a burning barn.
Look at that fucking
What
orc
is
right
that?
there, dude.
Dude,
Gorgeous.
with that underbite, he could be part goblin. Who knows?
Hey. Yeah, he looks great. I'm all about the orcs in this show. They look fantastic.
They
All
do.
practical, no CGI.
We'll be able to watch it all unfold.
And we're going to get some big scale battles in this
relationship
one, too.
with
It's not going to
his
be like the
father
skirmishes last
has
season.
gone, and his
Prince
pride has taken a
Durin.
massive hit.
The
Durin
darkness
is a
did reach
fantastic
him.
performance.
He's received the
Such a
biggest
good
blow
character.
to
He was
his
so likable.
spirit thus far.
Erendir. I feel like
It gets a little
even-
darker. The chessboard's been set, and I'm
fake-
seeing
they're not
the
fake,
chess
but,
pieces
like,
move.
a
The
show-
second season, it really feels like
What about Arendir?
Like I think that he was a show created character. Like he wasn't.
Yeah,
prior.
no. He's definitely an original character. Most of the characters
Original
in
character,
this
that's
are original characters. Arendir, Bronwyn, Theo, and then we've got the legacy guys like Elendil, Elisar, the Queen, Pharazôn over in Numenor. So there's a blend of both, but yeah, no, he's Arendir, and pretty much everyone that Arendir interacts with is like a new storyline. All the stuff taking place in the Southlands that now has become Mordor, like all of that was invented for the show. There's no passage in the book where a dude like sticks half a sword into a mountain and fucking kickstarts a volcano. As cool as that would be, they made that up. That's not in the book. And you know what? It was one of the most badass moments of television that
That's
entire
so
year.
fucking cool. Yeah.
I was so not ready for like the ultimate salt and vinegar, like baking soda and vinegar volcano explosion, you know? God,
Darkness
it was so
did
good.
reach him.
He's received the biggest blow to his spirit thus far.
It gets a little darker.
Numenorians
The
are
chessboard's
taking it
been
on their own
set,
little
and I'm
isolationist
seeing
island.
The chess pieces move.
the second
And
season.
then finally
it really
being
feels like the
convinced by their
gloves
queen to
come
come
off.
and help out. That's a great personal cost. Great ruin.
Set a watch at every crossing. He must not escape.
This is really bringing my
I've had
hype
an
back. I'm going to go back and
unexpected
rewatch the series
visitor.
before it comes out.
Who'd have thought a ring could have so much power?
You should name a show after it. The Power of Rings. Or what about Rings of Power?
It's just really
Kyle,
exciting to
yeah.
finally be
I love
back.
that he's just
I'm
like
just so
in
grateful to be a part of it.
Yes, Nori. No.
Here we are in
There weren't
new
any
territory,
Harfoots in the
new
trailer.
places
Yes,
to
John
visit.
Howe. That's my
I mean, the
dude.
set is almost too scary to go.
John Howe's in charge of the aesthetic, and we don't have to worry about a thing.
Yes, you do.
The detail that the craftsmen put in there is incredible. You absolutely get lost when you're here.
When you're in costume on the set, you're going to discover even more wonderful things to do.
We kind of
Ooh,
touched
she's
on it
singing
in
again?
season
Yes.
one. This time you will see us in all our glory.
She's so cool, man.
Yes,
He's
singing
awesome.
for the boss.
Also,
There's
Bear
things that we're
McCreary
doing
doing the music.
completely new.
What a treat.
And you do sort of get plumed.
Bro,
straight
Elrond
into
in
it.
the armor. We
I
get
have
to
to
see
pause it.
Elrond in
I have
armor.
to pause it. What the fuck? Just seeing Elrond wearing this.
Wearing a
is
hoodie.
Hilarious.
It's a meme. That's a meme.
Sup, bruh? What's up, dude? Elrond shows up in Rivendell, being like, "What's up, dude?"
How you doing? Yeah.
Plunged straight into the story.
It's been a long way. Some bad things might have happened. Some
Wait,
good
you're
things
not
may have
serious.
happened.
How could Isildur
There's
have
a lot
died?
of
He's
danger,
supposed
a lot
to
of excitement, but we're back
go
in
on to
Middle
not
Earth.
destroy the ring.
He has a king to be later.
It looks so good, dude. I'm just so hyped for Rings of Power season 2. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna rewatch season 1. So much has happened. Yeah, no, this is gonna be fun. Yeah, the huge battles are definitely coming, and like I said, the payoff felt light in season 1 because we had to do so much setup and so much exposition to set up all the crazy stuff that's gonna pop off right away in season 2. So I really can't wait for that. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Moving on, unless you have some final thoughts about Rings of Power.
No, I was gonna say moving on from one show about epic battles to another show of epic battles, but
Right, just
this
trading
one-
places.
This next one, House of the Dragon. There are no good guys there are only victims, and we all know that the dragons are going to be the victims of this show. But I'm still super pumped to watch dragons eat people and set shit on fire. 100%.
That is pretty much my main attraction for this show as well. I am Team Dragons. I'm officially Team Dragons. If the dragons can eat as many people as possible, I'll be a happy camper.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've got Murdoch in here crying Team Black already. Team Black. Do you have a favorite side? Team Black, Team Green?
I will say also Team Black, assuming that the other side is Team Green.
Yeah, Team Green. The High Towers versus Rhaenyra's Targaryen.
Fuck the High Towers. Right. Fuck their Lady Trumpian ideals and the Queen's pick me energy and being okay with not to kink shame, but at the same time, if you're gonna kink shame another person whilst at the same time being their foot fetish giver.
What if kink shaming is your kink? What if being kink shamed is your kink?
Well, I mean, all the power to you. Again, I'm not gonna shame you, but I'm not gonna give you a look of disgust while I'm having to show you my foot, while at the same time and then that dude
was weird, man. The foot stuff was weird. And then
that dude had the audacity to tell her absolutely jack shit nothing. When you look at the subtitles of everything that he was saying that entire conversation
ever.
He gave her no information whatsoever. He was just saying gibberish the entire fucking time for no reason. Also, the son with the sapphire eye is a fucking sociopath.
The eye patch looking dude, right?
Bro, yeah, the son who.
So can we talk about the fact that he just looks like handsome Squidward with an eye patch?
Absolutely. And he has a sapphire eye. And his little brother, King Aegon is his little brother, I'm assuming. He also looks like the main singer from fucking My Chemical Romance. But fuck them all, because they're all just having, manifest destiny. And it's no, it doesn't go that way. Fucking doesn't go that way.
No, I don't know. It's definitely they're fighting an uphill battle here. The showrunners trying to get us to care about the poor, suffering plight of these privileged nobles who live these lavish lives in palaces while there's literally people starving to death in the streets. You got shit smeared peasants, and the wealth inequality is so very clear. These serfs are just downtrodden, and Rhaenyra's sitting there having a 9-course meal in her palace, and we're supposed to feel bad about her interpersonal drama. That part of it falls flat for me. I just want to see dragons eat some people.
Older brother. I mean, hey, I know plenty of sibling relations where the younger sibling for whatever reason is taller or looks older than the younger sibling.
Yeah, my younger brother is taller than I am. I know how that goes, and I hate it.
But he thankfully doesn't look older. But he doesn't look older than you, though. He thankfully you guys have amazing genetics, and that's because you guys have the New Zealander genetics. But there are some people who get the ugly side of the genetic stick. And I think, plus they're inbred, right? The Targaryens.
That's true. The Targaryens are a bunch of inbred fools, aren't they? I always forget about that.
But at least they had the High Tower genetics in there to give a little bit of variation for Aegon. I'm assuming
Yes.
Was Aegon?
Yes. That's the kind of rationale we should be following to decide who to follow here. Absolutely.
I'm Team Matt Damon's Lego Castle Jousting helmet.
You remember that shit that he wore in one of the first episodes? It was fully the little Lego Dragon Man helmet. I love it.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely Team Dragon before I'm Team anyone else. And then I'm Team Peasants, secondly.
That's fair. They're the other victims.
Yeah, my favorite character in the original Game of Thrones was Jonathan Pryce. The beggar from the old gods.
Oh, dude!
Leading the crazy Inquisition and jailing everybody and being I don't give a fuck if you're rich. You're going down now. Yes, he was a religious zealot and a crazy guy.
The Light of the Seven.
He was fun
the Light of the Seven, and then Cersei just fucking blew his ass up, bro. That was the best song. That was
one of the best backfires of all time too. She was trying to get Marjorie jammed up, and she got herself thrown in a cell. That was fucking hilarious. Yes, the High Sparrow. Thank you.
And then her son just fucking swan dived, fucking gave King's Landing a new name to the term King's Landing.
Jonathan Pryce is really good at hamming it up. Like when he's in Pirates of the Caribbean, he's such a fucking ham. He's so good.
Yeah,
no, he's
playing
great.
Keira Knightley's dad. Yeah, no, he did phenomenal. He did phenomenal.
Yeah, no, you can't go wrong with Jonathan.
The whole cast just knocked it out of the water. I will give HBO that they do have a really good job of choosing phenomenal actors and actresses in their roles.
I mean, HBO, when you get that HBO job offer, that's hard to turn down. That comes with some pretty nice strings attached. They can make some pretty attractive offers to these big name actors.
You would hope so. You would hope so. Jesus. But yeah, some of those characters, man. Like there's so, like the pedophile dude who worked for the Lannisters, who ultimately became the leader of the Gold Cloaks when Joffrey was still alive. The dude who was like too old, and like he would.
Right. Marin Trant, right?
There was just some actor. There were just some.
Yeah, Sir Marin.
Bro, you do not want that job.
Yeah, I know. It's like, what are you going to get cast in after this? You got some stink on you now. Like,
what are you going to do? Yeah,
that's a real concern though that actors have to consider when they take some of these roles. Like, did you know that Anthony Hopkins' wife divorced him after Hannibal Lecter because she couldn't unsee? She could no longer like separate that horrible character from the man she married.
Like because I know he got remarried. I'd be very amazed, like if that was one of the. I could believe that was one of the founding reasons. I guess I'd be surprised if that were, but that's funny.
I'm also very sad about this, but I think everybody kind of saw it coming.
Scavenger's Reign.
Scavenger's Reign is easily the best original sci-fi story that I saw in the last 10 years, bar none. It's absolutely incredible, instantly iconic, beautiful animation. Please watch it if you get a chance to.
I was going to say I don't recall this one.
It was a very self-contained story. I don't even know what they would have done if they had a season 2. I was not expecting them to get one. Also, the numbers just weren't there, sadly, as they never really are for true art. Like, it's just not appreciated in its own time. But there is some hope still because Scavenger's Reign is being picked up by Netflix. And if Netflix gets really good numbers when they stream this season, maybe they'll greenlight a season 2. So, Max isn't touching anything else with this, but who knows? It's about to have a new home on a new streamer. Maybe they will work with it if it gets a good reception. But
fucking Homo Solari up here, like Light of the Seven featuring Cersei, Incinerate the Pores, Lannister. Like, fuck, bro. I mean,
pretty much. No, legit.
Cersei, I fuck my cousin and my brother Lannister because, fuck, Cersei. I grew up with a horribly abusive father who likes to kill things and remind me that I'm just here for breeding purposes. Lannister, the whole family is fucked, bro.
Forgot all about Final Space.
Even the piece of shit Lannister that we meet in House of the Dragons, he automatically has
Oh right, we did meet an ancient Lannister, didn't we?
Yeah.
Who was he?
And he's totally a fucking worst of the worst, ACAB sort of character, where he's totally just some yeah, I'm totally cool, and you totally want to be with me because I'm a lord, and it's dude, what the fuck? Get out of here!
I totally forgot about Final Space. Max just keeps canceling my favorite sci-fi shows too, man. What's up with that?
Funding.
Well,
Cersei,
you're not wrong.
Lannister. I mean, it's true though, right? She had 2 good kids, right? But that's what happens when you fuck your brother. Genetics can't be on your side all the time.
That's what happens when you fuck your brother.
Because I forget what the daughter's name was. She was the second child who they had to marry off. Or Tywin was like, no, you need to marry your daughter off to what's her butt in the
Marcella.
For peace, yeah, and they sent her off to the
and then
desert.
She got killed by Indira Verma.
Yeah, and she liked it, or I mean,
she was totally into it, and then she died.
She didn't like being assassinated, but she totally was like, "Ew, arranged marriage," and then met the prince and was like, "Oh my god, you're Aladdin! This is phenomenal!"
Right, she was totally going to have a little happy there ever after. She was going to be the only person in the show to get that. Sand Snakes couldn't allow it.
And then even Tobin was totally happy with Marjorie, even though Marjorie was whatever. Queen.
She was chasing the throne. She didn't care what the husband turned out to be.
That's true.
He was a stepping stone to her for sure.
Yeah, and then he just stepped out the window because fucking Zombie Mountain Zombie Mountain didn't let him leave the room, so he's like, fine, if I can't leave my room, I'm just gonna jump out the window.
If I'd been Tommen, I would have gone out fighting. I would have been like, I'm gonna make the mountain kill me. You know?
Dude, could you imagine? Okay, could you imagine if Zombie Mountain would have been charged as a Kingslayer? Like, what the fuck would have had to happen at that point? That would have been wild.
Yeah, I don't know how you stop him. You'd have to have the entire army stop him, pretty much.
Yeah,
Or
fire.
Dragon
I
Team,
think fire ended up being really the only weakness because, like, spoiler, gravity, right? Fire and gravity.
Fire and gravity. It wasn't the fall that killed him. It was the chunks of jagged rocks that are on fire waiting for him at the bottom.
Shout out.
That'll do it.
Oh, the Cleganes. Yeah.
The Clegane fight was very. So it was probably the only satisfying part of that finale, really.
Forget how to say his first name. What was the hound's first? It's not Senor, obviously. I forget how to say his first name. God damn it!
Sandor.
Sandor
Clegane. Yes.
Sandor Clegane. Fucking homie. Yeah, dude.
So here we go. Here's that House of the Dragon trailer. Oh, just kidding.
That's right, because the last thing we see of Matt Smith, he's singing songs to the other
Targaryen who sits the Iron Throne
dinosaur dragon
is not just a king or a queen. They are a protector of the realm. Now I find myself in an impossible position.
All hail King Aegon!
The enemy usurped my throne.
We're going to King's Landing. Well, what are we going to do about it?
We must play the board before us.
Proceed cautiously.
Fuck dignity! I want revenge.
For what, bro? You have no reason to want revenge for
The great
fucking
houses
nothing.
will come to our side.
I did not think they would be so eager to die.
I hope we do get the big battles this season. You know, they really teased us last season.
This fucking. I want to know who what dragon that is.
Isn't a leader strong enough?
So fucking cool, dude. A dude wearing armor riding a dragon will never not be badass.
Do you accept me as your queen and ruler?
This senseless war and send.
Shall never prevail.
Not like this.
Yeah, fucking
Yeah, it's so fucking cool. Why does it have devil horns? I don't know.
Because it's a badass.
Oh, what if that was one of the Stark grandfather that gets? Well, no, because we're not at the Mad King yet.
No, that's a long way away.
There is more than one way to fight a war.
War is coming, and neither of us may win.
It looks promising. It looks like we're going to get a lot of dragon action, which I am looking forward to.
I will give Game of Thrones like super big credit on like knowing where, because kind of like what we were talking about with Rings of Power and budget and money. Because Netflix Avatar: The Last Airbender kind of had this issue too, with like choosing where to put their budget and like what their CGI budget is.
Right.
I love how much effort they not Lord of the Rings, how much Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon emphasize practical sets and filming on location.
Yes.
Purely so that they can put all of their CGI budget into the fucking big creatures and the giant things and like.
And I'm sure like the town of Dubrovnik really appreciates it too, that they get so much. They get so much like economy out of these film productions coming down to shoot King's Landing. You know, if they move to a sound stage or like the volume, you know, a whole tourism industry would suffer for that as well. On top of the fact that like it frees up the budget and allows us to get like the really good CGI dragons. I mean, with dragon in the name of the show, you can't skimp on the dragon budget. It's illegal. All right. Game of Thrones. Okay. The throne looks cool. Mission accomplished. Do whatever you need now. But House of the Dragon, the dragons have to be the coolest part of the show. You've got to put your money in the dragons. Also, I can't help but notice that for a show called House of the Dragon, the one time last season that a dragon got into the house, everybody freaked out, and it was this huge problem, and like,
because in the church,
total chaos. House of the Dragon.
Okay, it's funny that you bring that scene up because they could have ended the entire fucking war right there. And the older sister who was like, I forget what her nickname is.
Rhaenys.
They gave her a really shitty nickname too, just like Bran the Broken. It was like the queen that never was, or like the queen that should have been, or some shit like that.
The queen that never was.
Yeah, it was like that's almost as bad of a name as Kingslayer. Like, bro, like it's just
Kingslayer is a badass name. Jamie just didn't appreciate it. Which is fine. Plenty of reason to have baggage with that name, but like Kingslayer is a dope title.
She could have
queen that never was. That
could have roasted everyone right then and there. She could have ended the whole fight, the whole war.
Yeah, like, it's true. Everything is really her fault if you think about it in that way. Everything that follows is because of her inaction in that moment.
The inaction, yeah, that's true.
If she had made that move though, there's no way she would have left alive.
She totally could have left alive.
Even on the dragon, because she was still surrounded. That's why she had to bust out immediately the way that she did. If she had attacked the king, she would have had to turn around, face away from the exit, attack him, turn back around, and then move back out. And in that time, the guards would just descend upon the dragon. And even if the dragon gets out, she'd probably catch an arrow before she makes it out of that room. That's kind of my take on it. Yeah, exactly. Her title's totally an insult. It's totally like a jeer at the fact that she had her birthright like taken from her.
Yeah.
She was denied it.
Just for being a woman. Like, fuck you.
Yeah, pretty much. I think it's gonna be fun. I think it's gonna be entertaining. I think that we're gonna have some good times, and hopefully we're gonna be shocked and wowed and like, I don't know. I can already see people getting like at each other's throats in the discourse of this show, like depending on like what character deserves what.
Right. So I think
that's so heated about season 1.
I think that's kind of the direction that this show is going to go compared to Game of Thrones, because with Game of Thrones there were so many different families and factions that you could get behind and like really root for, whereas this one is definitely going to be kind of like, I mean, lack of a better phrase, kind of like a defamation trial, really, because like a lot of us are just going to be watching each other or like each side's PR campaigns.
It's very he said, she said.
Yeah, and then trying to convince the other houses to like, no, I'm legit, and this is why.
Follow my side, exactly.
This is why. And then like, so I think a lot of the online discourse that's going to go on, which is going to be kind of cool, is definitely going to be more on like the debate team sort of thing of like, well, this person really lays claim because of XYZ versus like, yeah, but fuck this person because their dragon literally ate them in a storm. Like there was no discourse. Like homeboy sort of got eaten and then the dragon got decapitated and eaten. Like, you know, like there's just discourse. Like at least it's cool that like there's more debate.
I think there's going to be a whole lot of like House Tully sided with Team Green. We love House Tully. And then next week they'll be like, House Tully is now with Team Black. We hate House Tully.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be that a lot of like that tribalism, like what house is going to go into what side of this thing. And like watching people's affections, like they're going to have these love-hate relationships with these side houses. And it's going to be like really hot and cold depending on what they do in that week's episode.
Yeah.
And like, man, Game of Thrones really was the ultimate example of why weekly releases for your season instead of dropping in the binge format is always the way to go, because it promotes so much community like activity and discussion and discourse and theories and straight up arguments. But you know what? Sometimes that's okay, because sometimes that just means everyone's got a lot of excitement for the show. You know, we've all got our opinions and we've all got our theories. And that's really something that you want to foster. And so like, Fallout, for example, dropping the whole season at once. There was some talk about Fallout for like 2 weeks. Now it's over. You know, that show was awesome. Should have been in the conversation longer, but because they didn't stretch it out with single episode drops week after week, like now it's over.
I guess I will watch it eventually once I.
You should.
Because it's on Prime. That's right. I would have to.
It is on Prime. Yeah, when you watch Rings of Power. check out Fallout while you're at it, because you can just binge that one really quickly now. Because
sure, there we go. Yeah,
but,
yeah.
Like you can't discuss it with friends because everyone's on a different episode and no one wants to spoil anything for anyone else. But like this way, we're always all caught up.
That's true.
The Saturday before, we've all seen everything that's already out and we're all waiting and we're already in the mode. So like the hours leading up to a drop, a Sunday episode drop, is like the best time to like jump on the message boards and like discuss and like theorize with other people.
I see you with same with live action Avatar. Discourse died down real quick. They only had 8 episodes.
Too fast, man. They blew their load with the whole season, and like they should have.
They only had 8 episodes. We had fuck all. We had nothing. We had like a really good cake. We had a really good dessert, and then it just gave us more reason to go rewatch the entirety of the cartoon.
And I've seen the breakdown, and I know that the first season of live action Avatar actually was equivalent to the runtime of the first book of the Avatar animated series.
What do you mean, like how do you mean, like hour to minute ratio sort of?
Yeah, the minute ratio, it was pretty much equal amount of screen time.
Fascinating.
Because each hour-long episode was like 3 20-minute animated episodes. So if you think about it that way,
then
it actually breaks even. Narratively, not at all. Narratively, they had to truncate the shit out of it. Absolutely. But like in terms of how much Avatar you're getting on your screen, it's about the same cumulative runtime.
That blows.
Which I thought was interesting. I thought that was interesting. Yeah, because it doesn't feel like it. It feels like it flies by,
That's super cool.
It's because you have to commit to hour-long chunks at a time instead of just like 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there. You could really stretch that, but you could only take so many installments of a single hour-long episode. You kind of have to sit there and take it all to the face,
I don't know, man. Because if the Ember Island players were able to like take a whole season and make it into a 30-minute or 2 seasons and cram it into one, I don't know. It's
Ember Island players is basically what they did here.
I know, and then
just crammed it all in.
And then we got approved for a season 2 and a season 3.
They removed it, but they removed it. You know what I mean? Because we get throwaway lines of exposition referring to it. So they established that these things happen in the universe. We just don't focus on them. You know what I mean? And I appreciate the way of doing that too. Just like a line of exposition to say that, oh yeah, the Great Divide did happen, but we're not going to make you sit through that right now.
Yeah,
because there were time jumps in the show that were unacknowledged, and I'm sure that all these little filler episodes happened during those time jumps.
That's true. Or just like the change of discourse, the change of having certain monologues be given from one character to another character, or have one villain be this villain versus the other. Like there were still a lot of changes.
Yeah, well, I mean, and it's still an adaptation at the end of the day.
Yeah.
They got to make it their own somehow.
Exactly.
Hey, you coming up? Hello.
We have a cat visitor.
I do. She's running around the desk. What are you doing? Say hello, Murder Paws.
Gosh, she's so tiny. She's so small and so murderous with those little toes.
She's 11 years old. Okay, bye-bye. She wanted to come bother me, but she hates being on camera. So as soon as I put her on camera, she's out.
So we went through House of the Dragon, went through Rings of Power.
Next up, this is another announcement that they've kind of been having fun with. Also came out today.
Who's been messing up everything? It's been Agatha all along.
Okay.
So we finally have a title, and we finally have a release date, and a two episode premiere, which is pretty fucking.
I'm into it.
So yeah, Agatha, she was a great character. Catherine Hahn, they did a phenomenal job.
Yeah, that was great casting. She's really good.
Her own, as you can see with my own background, the
you're totally like Agatha coded with your lights right now.
Which is actually amazing. But yeah, so some of the titles that they had for the Agatha show were actually really fucking cool. Like the one that really caught my eye was like the Darkhold Diaries. That would be fucking phenomenal if they turned that into like some weird, creepy miniseries during.
It could be like an "Are You Afraid of the Dark" type show.
Exactly.
Totally.
Exactly. 100%.
Bring the horror angle.
Yes. The Lying
House
Witch.
of Harkness.
House of Harkness. That was one of the original working titles that I had heard.
So yeah, they kept publishing these titles, like little images of like the Darkhold Diaries, House of Harkness, publishing them as standalone things on the Twitter page, acting like this was the title.
Mm-hmm.
But then they released another one like a week later, and it's like, what the hell is going on? And as it went on, I started to realize this is the marketing campaign, Coven of Chaos, and what they're doing is this is Agatha making changes. You know, what's up with all the weird titles? It was Agatha all along. That's totally what they're doing. This was my favorite one. The Lying Witch with Great Wardrobe.
Yeah. I mean, she really did though. Like again, like her whole fit was just like phenomenal the entire time. And I'm still would love to find some little like prop designer or 3D printer if you can make the little I forget what they're called. The little brooch that has the 3 fates on it. I think it's called a portrait, but like
a cameo. It's called a cameo.
Cameo. There we go. Yeah, fucking brilliant. But yes, so September, finally in September. Because another curious thing about this show was no one really knew if it was going to take place after the WandaVision hex or before WandaVision. So with the idea of Darkhold Diaries, that really did put an emphasis on the idea that this was going to be before WandaVision, and this was going to heavily emphasize more on like Mephisto and Agatha dealing with the devil and like getting the book in place.
Could be. I'm thinking both. I'm thinking that we're going to get at least several episodes before and several episodes after.
Because after WandaVision, she had the memory erasure hex put on her by Wanda. But by the end of Multiverse of Madness, Wanda gets crushed. And by D&D spell logic, if the spellcaster is dead, theoretically the enchantment should be gone.
At the very least, concentration broken, right?
Yeah, right. So theoretically, Agatha could get her magic and her memory back by the end of Multiverse of Madness. But
that's kind of what I'm assuming is going to happen because Marvel really has an emphasis on moving the plot forward. So I don't imagine we would be spending however many episodes getting to know Agatha if she's just going to stay out of the main picture moving forward because she has this memory charm, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I have to assume that like they wouldn't be spending a whole series on this lady if she wasn't about to become a major player in the next phase of the MCU. She's going to be an antagonist at least for another couple movies, you know? So I don't think that she's just going to like the whole thing will take place pre WandaVision and she just like won't have her memory back. Like she's definitely going to regain it and then rejoin the world, and that's going to be the final arc of this show.
Because there was also rumors to be fucking, I can't think of the word right now because it's the end of my day. Just repeating myself. There was a rumor that Wiccan was going to be in it also, but it wasn't going to be little kid Wiccan with glasses. It was going to be like an older version of the character in the child. So, which would also give a very strong magic user and reality manipulator into the mix. But of which, I mean, Wiccan was also created by magic, so he's not technically a real person. So we'll see.
Right.
There wasn't really any rumor that the Speedster brother was going to be involved, which I think would also be weird and sort of like play favorites. Like, why would you add one twin but not the other twin? Like, granted, one twin's a magic user, but like still, like, kind of would play favorites in a strange way. But
yeah, that would be weird. That would be weird to not have both, only have one.
Yeah, Woodsy probably cleansing myself before Daredevil Born Again, dude. Yeah, I can't remember what his name is right now, but the actor that they have for Matt Murdock right now, like 100% dude crush, 100%.
Is it the original guy? Is it the guy who played him in the old show?
Yeah, and from She-Hulk.
Oh, that's right. He wasn't She-Hulk. She-Hulk is the first thing that I've ever seen Daredevil in because I didn't watch the show.
Oh, that's funny. See, like at least out of the Netflix ones, Daredevil, Charlie Cox, thank you. Between Daredevil and Punisher, those two were phenomenal. Like even
I did see Punisher. Punisher was good. Punisher was pretty good.
Punisher was good. Jessica Jones had some really cool badass moments. Luke Cage was very much up and down. Like the first season.
I liked Luke Cage. Didn't watch Jessica Jones.
Iron Fist
Didn't see
was-
Iron Fist either.
was fucking nails on a chalkboard.
You told me not to watch it. You're why I didn't.
Okay,
You're why
so
I didn't see Iron Fist.
So actually, because we were just talking about Game of Thrones, this is relevant and makes sense. So fucking okay. So you know that Iron Fist, like Danny Rand, he's supposed to be kung fu expert, master martial artist.
Right.
Like centers his chi into his fist and like is able to
For
punch
Loras,
through anything.
right.
Yeah, bro. Fucking Loras Tyrell, fucking Knight of the Flowers, fucking curly-haired motherfucker who gets like shaved and then they like carve the thing in his head and like blows him up. That's the actor. That's the fucking guy that they get to play Danny Rand, and it's just like, and he refused to take any kung fu lessons. And it's
no!
Fuck you.
So the fight scenes weren't good.
None of it was. The choreographer, all the stunt fighters were. The actress who played his girlfriend, who was a kendo instructor and like used a samurai sword the entire time, fucking phenomenal. He was the worst. He was the shittiest part of his own show. It was the main character. It was just
That's
like,
rough.
oh my god, this is nails on a chalkboard. It was so
Extra
bad.
disappointing for you too, because Iron Fist is like that's one of your guys.
He was, yeah, because like even in the miniatures game I play, like Marvel Crisis Protocol, like Danny Rand, like he's one of the defenders. Like he was one of the initial, like part of Doctor Strange's Illuminati outside of the Illuminati. Like Doctor Strange had his own subgroup of like heroes that he would kick it with in case there was other stuff that needed to be done.
Sure, that's right.
Like he was friends with Namor, Red She-Hulk, Silver Surfer, and Danny Rand. Like that was the original, and then Doctor Strange. Like that's the greatest, coolest fucking team.
And then you've got this guy. You've got the Knight of the Flowers in here, like fake fighting in the show, and it's like Doctor Strange wouldn't hang out with this guy.
No,
he'd be embarrassed to be seen with this dude.
Yeah.
Oh man. So moving along, we've got a couple more things to cover here. We're getting close to the end of our time. So first of all, another great podcast that focuses on Star Wars that I like to listen to, Talking Bay 94, has made me aware of the existence of an unproduced piece of merch that I did not realize was a thing, and now I can't stop thinking about it. Take a look at the Jabba the Hutt beanbag chair.
Oh my god, is this real?
This, well,
Wait,
I mean,
is
it's
this real?
really this plan really exists, but it was never produced. This is a concept for merchandise that was pitched and rejected, and they never made it. But like, is this not the most brilliant idea you've ever thought of? Like, come on. I should be sitting in one of those right now. Right now.
You know what we were saying earlier about kink shaming?
Out.
Ted, I got your voucher.
Out!
Like, look at this beanbag chair and tell me that there's not some.
No, I'm into it.
Someone
gets chained up to it.
Yeah, someone would chain themselves up to it, or someone like someone would lay.
Almost Fulari's got the right idea. You wear the Leia bikini and then you lay on the Jabba.
And that's your cosplay. And
Bada bing, bada boom. Then you just let nature take its course.
I don't know. I look at this thing and I immediately like.
If someone constructs this beanbag chair for me, I hate to say it, but I'll make it happen. Okay, I will.
Like, I look at this giant worm and I'm just like, I'm surprised no one's made a Dune worm beanbag chair yet, because I look
oh my
at
God,
this,
a Shai Halud sleeping bag. You're a genius.
Bro, I look at this thing, I'm looking at it, and all I hear is
up and suddenly you're the God Emperor of Dune.
Like, I just hear the chanting screaming in my head as I'm looking at it.
No, dude, that's inspired. That is brilliant. Yeah, no, like a Shai Halud sleeping bag. And when you zip it all the way up, like it just your face shows up and you're like the God Emperor. You're like mostly worm.
Like, whoever came up with this idea, like, this was their first draft. And they were like, I like where your head is at, but this is disgusting. Yeah. And then they came back the next day and he's like, okay, I got it. It's a sleeping bag, but it's a tauntaun. And then they were like,
yes.
Brilliant. See,
yes.
This is what I'm telling you.
I'm into it.
Super creepy, sexy Jabba the Hutt beanbag, I'll give you a sliced up tauntaun sleeping bag. We just meet in the middle.
I have a little tent that my cat sleeps in. It's shaped like a shark. There's the big shark mouth, you know.
Yeah.
You can get them shaped. They need to have one that's a tauntaun, so you can curl up inside like a gutted tauntaun and sleep there. I think that would be very cute.
Or like one of those little
I
kids
thought they
like
smelled bad on the
backyard
outside.
tents, or like a little kid backyard tent and make it the shape of like a Jawa fucking desert cruiser.
Yes,
Like,
the skiff.
There's stuff
That would be
you can-
amazing.
Yeah, but that's I understand why that idea was quickly thrown away. It's not.
I get it. But yeah, if it ever goes into production, I'm definitely pre-ordering one of those.
Or it's like
I didn't pre-order the
they have that
HasLab Razor
idea.
Crest, but I'll pre-order that thing.
Yeah, or it's like the person who came up with that idea is like, look, okay, so beanbag chair, and they're like, I like where your head is at, but it's the 90s. Kids don't want beanbags no more. We want inflatable chairs. And he's
Some
like,
of
okay,
us would still take a beanbag though.
And then he's like, okay, I got you. I'll make a Jar Jar Binks inflatable chair. And then I'll make the Darth Maul inflatable chair. And you put your hands on top of his hands and you just sort of sit in his lap awkwardly. And then
that's what we got.
That's what we got. Yeah.
Well, don't forget about the Darth Maul pool floaty, where you're supposed to like lay against his body and like hold his hand.
That's the one. That's the chair.
Yeah. That's
the chair. And then they made
a very sensual way to float in a pool. I have to say, I don't know how Darth Maul feels about this.
Binks chair too. Like, yeah, it was all the same time.
I don't know. Can an inflatable Darth Maul floaty provide consent?
I mean,
this is the real hot button issue that we need to figure out on this podcast now, because you're laying on this bitch. You got your hands on his hands. He's in the water. Like, he can't escape.
Same with Jar Jar.
How does Darth Maul feel about this?
Same with Jar Jar. Same with the crab droid. Same with the crab droid floaty. Does that crab droid want to be in the water? No. It's not built for that.
Do the droids have rights?
Yeah. See, did they choose? No.
It should have a breakaway like Velcro section and just like float into two. Oh my god, that would be perfect.
Dude, that'd be fucking funny. Could you imagine if you have arm floaties, like little water wings, and one's like the top of Darth Maul and one's the back half?
Yeah. No, that would be pretty perfect.
I'm on this bitch. Why did that make me cackle like a madman? Yeah, it's just yeah.
Yeah, dude, pool floaties have rights. Now we're getting into Philip K. Dick territory. I don't know. We're gonna have Blade Runner units going around and like stabbing all the floaties and deflating them in the future because they became
when you go
like
into the Safeway, when you go into the Sally's or not Sally's pools, when you go into like the whatever that pool cleaning company is, Leslie's Pools, that bitch, like all the pool floaties, all the sharks and turtles always have like really worried looks on their faces.
They don't look like they're enjoying it. That's what I'm saying.
All the swans. It's all the swans and the geese and all the other like pool floaties that just like look questionable.
L337 would be very upset about this conversation, but I will point out that the reason she died is because not everyone respected those rights in the first place, right? Because it was in fact an unsettled issue. So we were talking about Netflix possibly picking up Scavenger's Reign a little bit earlier. We've got some news. An article came out this week saying that Netflix, Apple TV, and Peacock are going to team up and form their own streaming bundle through Comcast, allegedly at a vastly reduced price. Isn't that just cable? Have we finally full circled back to fucking cable packages now?
I don't even.
I have no idea what that means. It is. It's
I don't even understand that breakdown.
Yeah. Netflix, Apple TV, and Peacock are going to bundle together. They're going to be available through a Comcast internet package, and they're going to cost less than doing individual. It basically sounds like cable is slowly making its way back, honestly. Yeah, cable without the residuals. Oh, I think you might be right. That might be the motivation there. Star Wars Visions and Mando manga just came out. I can't wait. I got to get my hands on it. And Comics with Katarn has been on hiatus for the last few weeks here because I've been so far behind. I'm planning to do a Comics with Katarn live stream and just like read as many comics as I can get through in a day and try and catch up. But yeah, no, Star Wars Visions is one of my favorite anthologies, and the mangas that we have been getting, fantastic. So that's shooting to the top of my list for sure.
going through some of the comments here. I mean,
Peacock
Disney
is kind of cool.
owns-
Peacock has the Office Superfan editions. That's like the only thing on Peacock that I am interested in right now.
Disney has owned ESPN for a while. The Disney Hulu purchase was something that happened definitely within like the last 2 years, for sure. But the ESPN, I mean, that's why they have the ESPN zone in downtown Disney still.
That's true. That's
They
true.
They own that shit. They own National Geographic also. There's like a bunch of other stuff they have.
And Discovery, the Discovery Network, right? Isn't that owned by Disney? Yeah, it's a full circle moment. We're coming back to cable, I guess. You know what? I kind of saw this coming eventually because the streaming business models aren't sustainable the way that they're currently being implemented. You know, they've got to do something different.
My God, I mean, like right now, Godzilla -1 is the internet's current #1 most pirated movie.
It's an honor. It really is an honor. You know, Game of Thrones took it as a badge of honor.
They didn't release it in America at all. It's purely just in Japan on hard copy on is it Amazon Prime, I think. Like all copies of Godzilla -1 are purely just in Japan right now, and the only way that people in America are able to change it or watch it is if they either pirate it from somewhere else or if they somehow change their VPN number so that it you know says that you're not in America.
It's a weird and seemingly deliberate oversight. Why wouldn't you release it here? I'm sure there's a delayed plan to do it eventually. I'm mad about this too. I'm mad about the fact that I pay for Prime and now I've got to sit through ads. That is such a bitch, especially when I'm reacting to full-length versions of episodes on Prime and then I have to interrupt the reference footage with ads every like 5 minutes. Yeah, no, that's...
Wait, so is Rings of Power going to have ads?
But unless you upgrade to like the super duper Prime, yeah. There is if you use an ad, there's a specific ad blocker that you can add as an extension to your browser if you watch through the browser, and that will negate the ads. But if you watch it on an app, then you probably will have to deal with ads unless you have like the ritzy package. Look at Bendu's face right now, everybody. That is the face of everyone in America. They have fucking ads on their Prime now. That was America's face right there. Like, goddamn.
I'm looking at Homo
That was an Eeyore-sized frown.
I'm looking at Homo Solari. It took 6 to 7 months for Shin Godzilla to get an American home release. That's true, dude. And even now, it's still like $10 to $12 to fucking rent or even buy. Which I mean is fair because it was very well made, actually. Like thinking about it, and I haven't seen. Well, obviously, I haven't seen Godzilla -1. So anyone in the chat who did get to see it, let me know. But
I can't wait to watch the Godzillas, man.
That's what I kind of really liked about Shin Godzilla versus like. Don't get me wrong, the American Monsterverse right now is super fucking cool, and the idea that like all the Titans were just this prehistoric, just remnant of pre-human existence on Earth, just like these radioactive like. Dinosaurs essentially, like that's fucking cool. Don't get me wrong. But also at the other spectrum with Shin Godzilla, and I'm assuming -1 as well, I do also really like the whole monster concept and just the villainizing of Godzilla of like, no, this was a freak of nature, radioactive evolution that's spewing out, radioactive toxin in the, in the atmosphere. And then like, not only that, anytime it lets off like, this fire heat beam thing, it puts out it's like a miniature A bomb drop like every fucking time. Like that's just fucking
that's so terrifying. Fucking cool though.
And they're like,
look at the Homo Solari here. -1 is a 10 out of 10 because he's seen it already. In case you needed more of an expectation.
I know, right? And then they re-released it in America in black and white, so I missed it twice. I fucking missed it twice. And then it got an Oscar. It won an American Oscar for fucking visual effects. So I'm like, God damn it. I need to see this monster movie.
I mean, that's pretty goddamn impressive. It wins an Oscar in America without a widespread American release.
No, it did have an American release.
Oh, you're not talking about -1 then?
No, -1 I am talking about. It did get American release because it was in theaters.
Oh, but it was just in theaters. It never got a streaming release and it never got a...
Exactly.
I understand. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, man. Godzilla is cool, and it's such a foreign concept to me because I haven't seen any of them.
Shin Godzilla and -1 go back to
plans.
the roots of original Godzilla, which is a force of nature awakened, mutated by American nuclear testing. Yeah, see, that's fucking dope. That's so cool. Versus like, oh, we're testing shit and we just woke something up, which is still very cool. It's still very Lovecraftian in a way of just like, American technology reached a certain point and now nature is just starting to quote unquote fight back in a way, or because of the ramifications of our own experimentations, like we now are in this age where there's different, what's it called? Not circumstances, different consequences for our experiments.
Repercussions.
Yeah, and now we have to learn how to deal with it. Like Shin Godzilla was fucking terrifying because like as they're putting, spoiler alert, the like cooling agent and anticoagulant in its system, like the tail, fucking you see it start to sprindle out and it turns into a bunch of mini Godzillas, and it's just like fucking terrifying.
That's wild.
Yeah, and like the response that America gives in Shin Godzilla is so fucking American too. It's so well put together. Like, man, I'm curious like who they had as like a consultant of like, okay, cool, if this were to happen governmentally, like it would totally be within America's wheelhouse to do XYZ or to respond in like XYZ way. And it's just like, dude, this is dope.
Yeah, I'm excited to start my Godzilla journey. I'm sure I will have a lot more I'll have some opinions by the time I'm done with this for sure. So the one thing that we have left to do is our new weekly tradition. We got to talk about
the Gonk
of the week.
Gonk of the week.
And this week's Gonk is coming to us from Douglas A. Bickert. This is a Boba Fett Mandalorian Gonk droid right here. Take a look at this thing. Take a look at this detail on it.
Is it a projector?
Custom job.
It has. Oh man, look at those fucking decals. Those are amazing. It has a plug. It has a wall plug. Is it a movie projector?
I think it's a speaker on the front there, but it does. It has a wall plug. You can see that cord leading out from the back. It's got the rocket on top
and a tiny rocket. It doesn't have a jetpack, but it has a rocket because, of course, you need to blow something up.
Of course.
Does it need to fly? No, but it still needs a fucking missile attached to it. That's amazing. The top scanner almost looks like one of those transparency projectors that we used to have back in the day.
Overhead projectors in school.
Bro.
Totally. That might actually be what it is.
That's hilarious. And what's that? It looks like an iPhone.
It's totally an old school. It's an old school iPhone.
It has to be. Maybe it's a movie projector.
It's the heads-up display here. Check it out.
Like,
I think it's a speaker because look, this looks like a playlist on the screen. If I go back to that picture of the front, that's totally a speaker.
I guess so.
I think it's like a mobile boombox situation because that's totally like a song selection screen right there.
I want to know, like, what did you build it for? What did you build it for?
No disintegrations. But yeah, it's got the mythosaur all over it. See, look, it's plugged in right here, so it clearly has an extension lead going to something. So I think it is powering like a large speaker inside. That's my guess. But like the detail, the decals, the weathering, fantastic level of detail. And look, he's got the little toe spikes and everything. He's got toe spikes on his stupid little gonk feet. It's my favorite.
Could you imagine getting kicked in the shin by a gonk droid? It'd be the worst feeling ever.
Seriously.
It'd be like when you hit yourself in the ankles with a razor scooter.
God, that's like a visceral level of pain. Everyone can like feel like understand what that feels like immediately. Fucking razor scooters. But yeah, shout out to Doug Biggert for this excellent gonk droid. Like very impressive.
We just need to know its function now. I want to know what it does.
Etiquette, protocol, and destruction.
Yeah, dude. Like you gave it a missile launcher. Like clearly, it's meant for business. This thing fucks.
The gonk has knee darts for warding off home invaders.
Yeah.
Gonk punch.
Gonk punch. You need hands for a gonk punch.
I can hear my cat snoring from down the hall, and it's very cute.
Gonk kicks. But yeah.
It's a long way gonk
kicks, bro, I'm surprised those aren't a shoe a shoe style yet. They'll be coming soon in 2 years.
Dude, gonk stompers. Get some sneakers that just look like the stupid square ass gonk feet. Yes, sign me up. Sign me up, please.
It's totally, it has to. I'm sure at some point it's gonna happen.
It better. It absolutely better.
I can't believe you have that as a bit. Oh my god.
Yeah, that's that's the harsh realities, man. Not everyone loves gongs, and sometimes people do this to your gong. Also, that gong could speak. He was going, no, no, no. He had like a voice.
Yeah.
EV-99, the torturer droid, retrofitted that gonk with a new system of subroutines so he could scream while he was being tortured. He was not capable of screaming.
That's fucked up.
Fucking droid was like, let me just change this wire here, twist it there. Okay, cool. Now you can scream in pain. Let's go.
It's fucked up.
Messed up. And you know what? He got out of that thing scot-free. Jabba got killed. Like, the whole organization got taken down. And EV-99 got a cushy fucking job as a bartender, bro.
It's because he was smart. He stayed in the building. He stayed behind. He didn't go on the Corvette. Was it a Corvette? No. I forget what. Skiv. Yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying. He just like quietly left after it all went down and was able to get a nice like job in Mos Eisley at the bar. No. He's a droid criminal. He's tortured and killed so many droids. If L337 was still around,
tells other droids when they come into the bar, we don't serve your kind here because he doesn't want to get recognized.
Well, that's the thing. Like that was supposed to show that times have changed. They used to be droid phobic over there, but now like droids are running the bar. So like anyone can. Dr. Mandible, Pelimato, and EV-99, who, in my opinion, should be in prison. Should be in droid prison, you know.
War criminal. Well, actually, no, not war criminal. Just fucking sociopath and sadist. Yeah.
I wouldn't say he's a war criminal, but he's like the equivalent of like someone who tortured people for a cartel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Might as well
he's
be.
Like Dr. Aphra's droids.
Oh yeah, like Trip Zero. Yeah, Trip and BT, they're definitely on the same level as EV-99, I think. Gonk Stompers, dude, I'm telling you, it would be a hot seller. It would really fly off the shelves and onto my feet specifically. Reebok released Alien Stompers based on Ripley's like badass Reeboks that she wears in Alien and Aliens. Yeah. And they've been limited runs each time. They've re-released them like 3 times over the last 20 years, and they sell out within seconds each time. But yeah, if Reebok can do Alien Stompers, why can't we get like some Gonk Stompers? You know, it could be. We'll go to that weird ass company that made the big red shoes. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, or like there's shoe companies that
Lego Man shoes.
There's companies that make Dragon Ball Z shoes and like Dragon Ball Z boots.
Yeah, I would wear Gonk shoes. I would do it. I'd find a way to pull it off. Regonks. Now we're talking. Give me some Regonks. Some Gonky Airs.
Gonkonks. Reeboks. Gonkoks. I don't know. Yeah, it's name in progress. Name and
it's
word.
Gonky instead of Nike.
Gonkies. Yeah.
Oh, Gonky Airs.
We'll work on it. We'll get there.
Gonk Force Ones.
Gonk Force Ones. Yeah, there we go.
I'd wear some Gonk Force Ones, dude. You kidding? Hell yes. No. Some Gonkins, some Regonks. Clearly, we have fully derailed the podcast because now we're just naming Gonk.
But at the same time,
we got nothing.
But at the same time, welcome to episode 70 of Dork. Dork Forces.
We are out here talking about Gonks and Reeboks, and we've been doing this for 70 fucking episodes. So if you're still sitting here, if you're still listening after all this, like,
but at the same
have an inseparable bond.
At the same time, we'd be talking about witches and multiverses of madness. We'd be talking about Rings of Power. We'd be talking about Willow. But thank you, best friend.
Yeah, we dart all over the board, and we've got so many different nerd things to cover. And
yeah.
Thank
so
you
guys,
for hanging out with us and sharing this with us.
Thank you for letting me be a part of this with you, best friends.
Yeah, dude. Of course, it wouldn't be the same without you. Honestly, it's a lot more boring when it's just me just mumbling to to everyone out there in the world. But we actually can talk to each other, and I feel like that's a much more like we both get so much more out of a conversation when we can both share our own opinions and not just wax poetical about whatever thoughts are in a single person's head, you know?
So IG Kevin, I see you about the Alkalite. We will get into the Alkalite. We also will eventually get into Tales of the Empire and the final season / series ending of the Bad Batch. We will get into our ultimate breakdown.
Yes, we're planning all of that for next week. That's the plan. It's going to be a lot
Murdoch,
of fun.
I fucking see you.
But we keep running out of time, so we're going to front load the next one with our discussions of Tales of the Empire, Bad Batch, Acolyte.
We were given a lot of good trailers and good like teasers and release actual dates. We were given a lot of fucking dates today, which is great.
Yeah. No, we're feasting right now, man. We're absolutely feasting. Murdoch, I miss you too, bro. We're gonna get the Gonk Squadron back together, and we're gonna hit some Star Wars squadrons really soon. We'll coordinate a time that works for everybody on Discord. But yeah, man, I miss you too, man. We're going to do that soon. And anyone that wants to play Squadrons with us, or SWTOR, or Battlefront, or any of the other multiplayer games that we play on the regular, please join up on the Discord. We would love to include you in our group. There's a link in the description of the Twitch page, the YouTube page, the Twitter page, wherever it is that you're watching the stream, to the Cogatown Discord server. It's a great place to stay connected, especially if you want to take part in any sort of multiplayer activities. We do it all through Discord. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. This has been the 70th issue of Dork Forces podcast, and a special happy birthday to George Lucas. Yes, absolutely, man. Let's see, what is my most George Lucas-tastic clip that I can play us out with? Oh, you know what? I'm going to go with this one. Have a great night, everybody, and as always, may the Force be with you.
Right now, I'm surprised and entertained.
今、ジョージ・ルーカスを驚かせ、楽しませているもの。キューヘッドの高画質。ナショナル・マックロード・ムービー。
It's a Mo. We can truly experience the universe.
今、私たちは宇宙を実感できる。世界を実感できる。衛星放送のために BS チューナー内蔵。ドームスピーカー搭載。パナカラー X。
Panasonic. It's a Mo, something new. My job is to surprise everyone, to entertain them. Right now, I'm surprised and entertained.
今、ジョージ・ルーカスを驚かせ、楽しませているもの。キューヘッドの高画質。